At Destination D23 in 2025, Disney announced that a Walt Disney animatronic would be added to the Carousel of Progress, and initially, I was a little bit skeptical. I thought it was a little gross that they created a Walt Disney show in Disneyland, because from a company that feels as corporately cynical as Disney does today, the inherent idea of using Walt Disney as a brand promotion, whether as a statue to endorse the worst version of Epcot, or as an animatronic at Disneyland to literally bring Walt back into the park, feels disrespectful. I initially felt the same way about bringing his animatronic to the Carousel of Progress, but at least it did feel like a tribute to the attraction, since it's directly based on the Wonderful World of Color episode, where Walt talks about the development of the attractions that would go to the 1964 New York World's Fair. My mind was changed when in Defunctland's Living Characters Part 2, he brought up the point that many people were openly critical of Walt attempting to bring Abraham Lincoln back to life as an animatronic, and since he went ahead and did it anyways, it would be hypocritical to not want an animatronic made of himself. While I still don't like how contemporary Disney uses Walt's image to promote their own creative bankruptcy, I at least changed my mind about whether it was appropriate to create a Walt animatronic or not. For a while, I actually thought it was a good idea that he would be introduced to the Carousel of Progress. But then, just in May of 2026, Disney announced that the entire ride would be destroyed, replacing all of its scenes with the 1960s, the 1980s, the new millennium, and an Act 4 that they're calling the Possible Future. I'm really conflicted on this, because while I've been very skeptical of Disney's park changes, and even just described them as creatively bankrupt, the quality of their attractions has undeniably gotten better recently as we move out of the damage done by the Chapek era. For example, I'm still against 3 Disney IP attractions dressed up in a Tropical America's trench coat for Animal Kingdom, but in terms of attraction quality, I'm liking what Disney is doing a lot better. Test Track 3.0 could use some improvements, but is a nice return to the thematic classic Epcot, and the Buzz Lightyear refurbishment at Magic Kingdom was done really well. While I still haven't experienced the other rethemes or refurbishments across Walt Disney World this summer, my initial impression of them is really positive, which at least makes me hope that new park additions will move in more interesting directions, especially now that Iger is gone as well. The new Carousel of Progress could genuinely be great, and I would even say I'm excited for it because the concepts seem interesting. But at the same time, it really stings because it comes at the expense of destroying an attraction that Walt Disney personally developed and worked on. Now, of course, I realize that the current version of the Carousel of Progress has been updated numerous times, and so I wondered, is this fundamentally different from the 1964 World's Fair version? And if so, would it make me feel better that the new announced plans are completely replacing every single scene? So that's what I wanted to explore a bit today, lightly discussing changes made to the Carousel of Progress over the decades to see how dramatically it has been altered, and debating whether that justifies replacing every single scene, or if this is essentially going to be like destroying history. I recently went around the Carousel of Progress 6 times to put together my own POV video, showing multiple angles and trying to capture the spirit of the show as best as possible, showing as much detail as I could. In order to understand what changes were made to the attraction over the decades, I thought it would be best to show you the full show from the edit I put together, but what I didn't anticipate was that Disney released a Walt Disney World music album in 2013, and showing you the full footage with There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow playing between the scenes means that the video cannot be monetized. So I'll probably release that full edit for people to enjoy, but for this video, I'll be cutting out the transitions between the different acts, so you can still get a good sense of what this attraction entails. However, if you would like to skip this entirely, or if you're already quite familiar with the show, I'll put a timestamp on screen now, and you can skip right to the debate about the future of this attraction.
It looks like the Robins are getting ready to celebrate Valentine's Day today. What year is it? Oh, right around the turn of the century. And believe me, things couldn't be any better than they are today. Yes, sir, buildings are towering now as high as 20 stories. And moving pictures flicker up on a big screen. We have almost 8,000 automobiles in this country, and we can travel by train from New York to California in less than 7 days. And I even hear tell about two brothers from North Carolina who are working on some kind of flying contraption. It'll never work. Closer to home, we've now got gas lamps, a telephone, and the latest design in cast iron stove. And that reservoir keeps 5 gallons of water hot in just 3 buckets of coal. Oh, boy, it sure beats chopping wood. And isn't our new ice box a beauty? Look at that. Holds 50 pounds of ice. Milk doesn't sour as quick as it used to. And our dog Rover here keeps the water in the drip pan from overflowing. It wasn't too long ago we had to carry water from a well. And thanks to Progress, we've got a pump right here in the kitchen. Of course, we keep a bucket of water handy to prime it with. Yes, sir, we've got everything we need to make life easier. Say, Mother, I was reading about a fellow named Tom Edison who's working on an idea for snap-on electric lights.
Electric lights? No more kerosene, no more gas.
Sarah sure gets to the core of the apple.
But we do have this new wash day marvel. Now it takes me only 5 hours to do the wash. Imagine, it used to take 2 days.
Well, that's right, folks. Now Sarah has time for other things
Like canning and cleaning the oven.
Yes, dear.
Ovens don't just clean themselves, you know.
I know, dear. And they probably never will.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to get the laundry off the line before it starts raining cats and dogs.
Don't worry, Rover. She didn't mean real dogs. Besides, it's not going to rain today. My lumbago isn't acting up.
I'm not going to say I told you so.
Boy, look at it come down. All you have to do is put your wash on the line, right? Oh well, the cistern was low anyway.
Wow, wait, look at that.
Now, James, I thought I told you to ask my permission before using my new stereoscope. It's not a toy, you know.
Ooh la la. So that's little Egypt doing the hoochie coochie, eh, Dad?
Isn't she a knockout? She's the star of the new World's Fair in St. Louis, and now you put that away before your mother finds it.
Aw, Dad.
You heard me. Well, we have one of those new talking machines. Now that is something. It plays music right here in our home.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow.
She keeps that thing going all day long. Progress.
Oh, Papa!
Yes, Patricia?
Papa, all these people. I'm indecent.
Don't worry, Patricia. They're friends. That's our teenage daughter. She's getting ready to go to a Valentine's dance across town on one of those new horseless trolleys.
I think it's very romantic you're taking Mother out for Valentine's dinner this evening.
Well, you know what kind of sport I am.
I only hope I have an evening as romantic as yours and Mother's.
Now you be home by 9 o'clock, daughter. You hear me?
Yes, Papa.
Oh, well, with all this talking, I've worked up quite a thirst. I think I'll take one of those newfangled trolleys down to the drugstore soda fountain and meet the boys for a cold sarsaparilla. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We're drinking root beer now. Same kind of thing, different name. Well, that's progress for you. And speaking of progress,
there's a great big beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away.
Phew, boy, hottest 4th of July we've had in years. We've come a long way, though, since the turn of the century, over 20 some odd years ago. You know that pilot fella, Charles Lindbergh? He's about to fly a single-wing airplane all the way across the Atlantic. He's never going to make it. And sports stadiums are springing up all over. And boy, nobody hits that old horsehide like that new fella Babe Ruth. Jazz music is the cat's meow. And there's been ads in the paper for months for a movie starring Al Jolson. And he's going to talk and sing. Oh, boy, I've got to see that. There goes Schwartz in his Upmobile. He sure loves that horn. You know, in my new Essex, I've got an electric starter. Now I don't have to crank. We can travel from New York to Los Angeles by train in only 3 days. And we've got a house full of new electrical servants. Mr. Edison sure added life to our home. Whoa there, you'll blow a fuse. Crap, that's the third one this week. I buy fuses by the case. Uh-oh, and I've blown the whole neighborhood again. Easy, Rover. Jimmy, hurry up with that fuse.
Shucks. Every time he has company, he blows a fuse. And guess who always has to change it?
I heard that, young man. I heard that.
Oh, well, that's more like it. John, yours is the last costume I've got to finish before the parade starts.
Sarah's Ladies Club is responsible for our town's 4th of July celebration tonight. She's got us all roped into performing in their program,
And
right?
I've decided we're going as George and Martha Washington, dear.
Oh, the father of our country. That's a role that really fits me. You know,
I'm so glad we installed an electric light fixture here on the porch because it's just too darn hot to be sewing inside.
Yes, Sarah. You know, next year I'd like to go as Benedict Arnold.
Wait until you see what I've got planned for the fireworks show tonight.
Rover, don't interrupt while Sarah's interrupting.
And guess who volunteered to choose the music for the program?
I did, Pop. Listen to this.
Oh, that's a nice tune, Jimmy. You know, with our new Crossley radio set, we can get news and big-time entertainment from all over the country, even Pittsburgh.
Well, we're starting to arrive downtown for a spectacular 4th of July parade and fireworks event tonight. Major people.
Oh, Patricia,
Yes, Father?
better get a move on. The radio says folks are arriving downtown.
Do I really have to go? If my new boyfriend Theodore sees me in this, it'll scare him away.
Well, dear, if that happens, you'll always have that torch you can carry for him.
Oh, Father.
Calm down, Rover. I was only kidding. By the way, we have indoor plumbing now. Oh, boy, that's really great on cold nights, especially for our perennial house guest, old Uncle Orville. Uncle Orville's taken over the coolest spot in the house, of course, and he's rigged up a real clever contraption. He calls it air cooling. Too bad he's not reading the help wanted ads.
No privacy at all around this place.
Sorry, Orville. You know, considering all the... Oh, coming, Martha. As I was saying, considering all the conveniences we now have, I'll say that we're really on easy street these days. It just can't get any better. Just goes to show that there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Dream away. Well, it's another Halloween here in the fabulous 40s. Everything is better than ever now, and we've got some amazing new wonders around the house to prove it. For instance, our refrigerator holds more food and ice cubes, and thanks to our automatic dishwasher, I don't have to dry the dishes anymore after supper. Gives Rover and me more time to enjoy our evening stroll together. Later, boy. Oh, and here's something else that's new. I just heard a new term today on the radio. Fella says we've got something now called the rat race. Did you ever hear that one? It sure describes my life. I'm involved in something now called commuting. I drive into the city for work all day and then turn right around and drive all the way back. And the highway is crowded with fellow rats doing the same thing.
That's what they call progress, dear.
Yeah, I guess she's right. But we do have television when it works. Gives you something to do after you come home. I kind of like it, you know? Guy named John Cameron Swayze gives us all the news. And then they have all this singing and dancing. A lot of fluff, but it's fun. You know, I predict the day when millions of people will learn Latin and Greek sitting in front of their TV sets.
Are you awake, dear? Give him a left, you big love.
Ah, yes, a new age of electronic civilization is upon us.
Hey, Dad, what do you think of my jack-o'-lantern?
Oh, boy, that's scary.
That's because I'm using my beautiful sister Patty's picture for a model.
Down, Rover. Jim, Rover appreciates your joke.
Now, you're always kidding poor Patty. She's certainly prettier than either of you.
You hear that? My daughter Patty is using that old exercise machine she rescued from the attic. It was all the rage in the 20s. Grandma, of course, had to have one. Didn't work then, doesn't work now. Consistent at least. Makes a lot of noise and blows fuses.
As I was saying, Dad, I think college is really swell. You should give it a try.
Oh, Patty, are you going to the Halloween party tonight?
Oh, yes. And I'm hoping to lose a few more inches by then since I'm going with that dreamboat Wilfred.
Wilfred? What a slug!
He's coming as the headless horseman.
It fits!
Come on, Ben. That clodhopper Howard you're going with is no Ratterjack prize.
Oh, poor Howard. I wonder what they said about me when I was dating Sarah. You're lucky, Rover. You don't have to date. Well, we're caught up in the do-it-yourself craze these days. We're remodeling our basement in something called a rumpus room. And we're looking forward to a few rumpuses, I'll tell you, as long as they don't get out of hand.
John, this papering is getting out of hand. I could use a little help.
Now, Sarah, didn't I set up that clever automatic paint stirring machine for you?
Yes, John, you're a genius. Of course, this will ruin my food mixer. Not that you'd care.
Oh, good old Sarah. Always the last laugh. What happened, Sarah?
Oh, you and your progress. That paint mixer of yours just sloshed paint across my rump. A rumpus, the room.
Now, how do you like that? I always say if you're going to be married, marry a girl with a sense of humor. Well, it's time to move on. Let's cheer up Sarah by singing our song. Come on, everybody.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow away.
Isn't it a pleasant holiday? Oh, turkey's in the oven, it's peaceful and quiet.
Yes! 300 points, my best score yet.
Well, it was peaceful until Santa brought that new virtual reality space pilot game.
Your turn, Grandma. Let's switch the image over to the TV so the resident flying ace can show you how it works. Now, it's a little tricky. Just use your game glove to fly behind the other guy and blast him with your laser blaster.
Laser blaster? Well, I'll give it a try.
Take a look around, Grandma. You're in the ship.
Feels like I'm really there.
Okay, get ready. You're about to blast off.
Here goes nothing. Whoa.
All right, here it comes. Oh, you missed him.
Hey, everybody, I'm done programming our new voice activation system.
Now all our household items will do anything we tell them to do.
Great. Tell the refrigerator to bring me a root beer.
Well, it can't quite do that. But I'll show you something it can do. Tree lights 30% brighter.
Oh, that's no big deal. Anybody can do that voice activated stuff. Watch this. Rover, speak.
John, the oven should respond to your voice commands now. Give it a try.
Oh, okay. Here goes. Temperature to 375.
Temperature increased to 375.
Look at that. It even talks back.
Reminds me of certain people I know.
Yeah, right, Dad.
You gotta lose him, Grandma. Bank to the right.
Remember Dad's turkey last year?
Yeah, that thing really smoked up the place when it burned, didn't it?
We ended up microwaving frozen pizzas.
Well, no need to worry about the turkey this year. Not with an oven that will do anything your father tells it to do.
Oh, good shot.
Did you see that?
Dad, Grandma's up to 550 points.
Did you say 550? Hey, she's getting the hang of that thing.
550.
I can't believe all the new gadgets they've got now. You know, in my day.
Oh, no. You're not going to tell us about the old days when you didn't even have a car phone.
Trish, for a while we didn't even have a house phone. Not to mention laser discs and high-def TV. Everything's automated today. Including, well, including that.
No privacy is all around this place.
Sorry, Orville. Anyway, you guys don't know how good you got it nowadays.
You know, my grandpa told me the very same thing when I was a kid.
Take that, you nincompoop!
Hey, check it out, Dad. Grandma's up to 975 points.
Wow, 975?
Temperature increased to 975. Big mode overload. Command error.
John, what's wrong with the oven?
What,
Big mode complete. Enjoy your meal.
Anyone for pizza? pizza?
Oh, another Christmas turkey ruined.
Man, what a game! I really smoked those guys. Looks like I'm resident flying ace now.
Oh, best 2 out of 3, Grandma.
Later, kid. Boy, that was fun. What will they think of next?
Who knows? We've got a whole new century waiting for us out there.
Yeah, and maybe sometime in the new century, your father will learn how to talk to our oven.
Well, maybe by then ovens will read our minds. But hey, as long as we're all here and happy and together for the holidays, who cares if I burned our Christmas turkey?
I do. I'm starving.
Don't worry, Dad. Someday everything's gonna be so automated you won't ever have to cook another Christmas turkey again.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow.
If you go back and watch footage from the development of the 1964 version of the Carousel of Progress, on first impression, it might seem pretty similar. The attraction was initially developed for the never-built Edison Square, an offshoot of Disneyland's Main Street that would have been focused on technology around the turn of the century. The show itself was originally known as Harnessing the Light. It would have been focused on the development of technology and electricity, but a lot of the scenes were then adapted and reused when it came time to develop the Carousel of Progress. Needing to raise money for the project, Disney took on General Electric as a sponsor, and so this original version was more focused on technology than actual culture. It initially starts off the same, showing off the appliances of what is likely the 1890s, and the first encounter with Mother is also the same as she's doing the laundry. However, the next scene with the son is very different, as instead of viewing the stereoscope as we see today, he instead has no dialogue and is using a manually powered vacuum cleaner. Otherwise, the first act isn't really too different in content from how we know it today, other than the dialogue being different and often making misogynistic jokes. You also notice that character design started off a bit differently, and even animals like the parrot and the dog were quite different as well. Moving on to the 1920s, it's also very similar to the version we know today, with an emphasis on showing off new appliances. But in the first scene, instead of sewing 4th of July costumes, Mother is again shown doing the laundry. This is then followed by a familiar scene of the grandfather and son listening to a phonograph, but then you meet Daughter, who, instead of being embarrassed to be dressed up like the Statue of Liberty, is essentially told off to go to bed. After witnessing Orville in the bathtub, Act 2 concludes and moves on to the 1940s. It starts off similar to how you would expect, but instead of the grandparents watching television, it initially had them listening to the radio. Instead of the Rompus Room scene being last, it was now the second, and the actual concluding scene had the kids watching television. Finally, the attraction moved into Act 4, which is very different from what we recognize today. It was set during Christmas in the 1960s, featuring only Mother and Father as they showcased the technology on display in their modern house. At the conclusion of the fair, the attraction was disassembled, where it was moved to California and reopened at Disneyland in 1967. Other than cosmetic updates and some small scene changes, the show wasn't too different. However, it had viewers exit to a second floor where they could look down and see a model of Progress City, which worked as an early illustration of the Epcot project. You might recognize that part of this model is on display on the Magic Kingdom People Mover today, but in this version of the Carousel of Progress, it was also recreated as a background in the 1960s scene. With the Magic Kingdom opening in 1971, General Electric wanted to move the attraction there to showcase their products to a broader audience, and so it reopened there in 1975. One of the most notable changes was that the iconic song, There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, which was written by the Sherman Brothers, was replaced by another piece by them, called The Best Time of Your Life. This was intended to showcase that General Electric products were ready for your home now and not the future. The attraction was updated in other ways, including updated aesthetics, a new script with new voice actors, and generally, scenes were changed to be more familiar to the version we know today. For example, you see the son get his stereoscope in the 1890s, and Mother adopts embroidery in the 1920s, a precursor for the 4th of July costume sewing scene that you see in the current version. Various changes would be made to other scenes of the show too. but the most dramatic was Act 4, updating the time period to the 1970s, and the family is now celebrating New Year's Eve as father makes chili. I won't go into the content of the scene, but notice the staging of the family and the daughter playing the guitar, because there's a callback to this in the new concept art that Disney released. In 1981, the attraction went through another update, with most scenes becoming more familiar, but Act 4 again changed dramatically, reflecting of course the 1980s. The family again talks about how modern technology has changed their life, and the father is now making New Year's Eve omelets. The final update came in 1994, bringing the version we know today with the return of the original song, and each scene taking on the theme of a holiday, with the 1890s being Valentine's Day, the 1920s the 4th of July, the 1940s Halloween, and Act 4's House of the Future taking place during Christmas. It's also notable that while technology is certainly a factor, the dropping of GE as the sponsor allowed this version to focus more broadly on the culture of each decade as well. So the question is, has the Carousel of Progress changed enough over time that it's as different from the 1960s through the 1990s as the new version that completely changes every scene will be? To me, the answer is clearly no, because while the dialogue has changed, animatronics and decor have been updated, and entire scenes have been reimagined, the core of the attraction has not changed, and has been tastefully updated with each decade. It reminds me a lot of how during the Eisner era, attractions were updated in meaningful ways, while still preserving their core experience. Spaceship Earth is a really good example of this, changing the ending scene with each new update, while also adding better lighting and animatronics, keeping it feeling relatively current in a way that the 1982 version would not be. Remember how Bob Chapek threatened to turn this attraction into some nonsense about the history of storytelling, as Moana's grandmother flew around as a manta ray? Thank God COVID shut down the budget for that idea. However, now that the Iger and Chapek era have passed, I really do think that the newly announced Carousel of Progress could be great. In the initial opening scene, it will feature the Walt Disney animatronic to introduce the show, and it will run through the 1960s, the 1980s, the new millennium, and the possible future. As I just pointed out earlier, it also appears that Act 4 is a throwback to the original 1970s version of this scene, with the daughter playing the guitar, and father cooking up another dish for the family. In some ways, the limited concept art also reminds me of Horizons. If you're not familiar with it, Horizons opened at Epcot in 1983 as a ride focused on futurism, starting off by showing different versions of historically envisioned futures. However, the bulk of the ride followed the family from the Carousel of Progress, with father and mother retiring in their house of the future, the daughter becoming an engineer on a robotic desert farm, her boyfriend working at an underwater city called the Sea Castle, and finally showing the son living in a space colony called Brava Centauri. It's an absolutely fascinating attraction, and I think we might even see hints of it in the new final scene for Carousel of Progress. However, as much as I think that this idea has potential, is it worth replacing the historical sets and themes of what's currently there? I would say no, because it really is replacing something unique. I like the setting of the 1890s, the 1920s, and the 1940s, but I feel the best way to update the attraction is, as they have always done, rewriting the dialogue and updating Act 4. The new decades simply cannot substitute what's being thematically lost, and that's why, while it has been updated many times, it still feels like Disney is destroying an attraction that Walt Disney created. I know that people like to misquote Walt and say that Disneyland was never meant to be a museum or whatever, but I think that this version of the Carousel of Progress is very much worth saving, and I think the best solution is to ship it back to Disneyland, filling the empty theater that it once used to reside in. I would be perfectly happy with the new version if this one was preserved. Something about the online discourse that has really annoyed me is that I see this dumb argument pop up that every scene is outdated, because when the original premiered in 1964, it was appealing to people who had lived through those decades. It's pretty clear to me that one of Disney's greatest strengths is manufacturing nostalgia. You don't have to have lived through the 1910s to enjoy the atmosphere of Main Street USA, have existed in the late 1800s to enjoy New Orleans Square, or have any familiarity with the decades of the current Carousel of Progress to be immersed in their atmosphere and nostalgia. It's something that stands on its own, and it's really aggravating to see people parrot around dumb ideas that they heard one person put forward to justify the destruction of a classic that should still exist in some form. Again, I think the new Carousel of Progress could be great, but why does it have to come at the expense of the current one, which I doubt Disney will care to preserve? That lack of regard for legacy is something that I really hate about the last 15 years of Disney leadership, and I threw together this video to express how frustrating that is, because as much as the Carousel of Progress needs an update, the current plans are the wrong way to do it, no matter how good they may look. So, I put this video together quickly just to express that frustration, but if you have any thoughts on what should happen to this attraction, please let me know. As always though, please leave a like to support the video if you haven't yet done so, and if you haven't yet subscribed and hit the bell notification yet either, you can also do so now to be alerted to new videos as they're released.